Let's get to Washington and a number of moving parts on the trade front. The president saying overnight he's terminating all trade negotiations with Canada ahead of a trip to Asia to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Eamon Javers joins us with the latest on all of that. Hey, Eamon.
Good morning, Mike. It's a cross-border fight between the United States and Canada over the words and legacy of Ronald Reagan today after President Trump objected to this ad produced by the province of Ontario using a Reagan speech on tariffs from 1987. In it, Reagan says, over the long run, such trade barriers hurt every American worker and consumer. Now, that provoked President Trump to lash out in a late-night social media post, calling the ad fake and saying they only did this to interfere with the decision of the U.S. Supreme Court and other courts. Tariffs are very important to the national security and economy of the USA. Based on their egregious behavior, all trade negotiations with Canada are hereby terminated. And the Ronald Reagan Foundation issued a statement saying the ad used selective audio and video and misrepresents the April 25th, 1987 radio address by Ronald Reagan. Ontario Premier Doug Ford responded to the president in a social media post of his own, saying, Canada and the United States are friends, neighbors, and allies. President Ronald Reagan knew that we are stronger together. God bless Canada and God bless the United States. No word yet from the White House on what the plan is now for talks between the two countries, which have been ongoing since Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney visited the White House earlier this month. And guys, I should tell you that we went back and compared the edited version that was aired in this Canadian ad of that Ronald Reagan speech with the actual Ronald Reagan speech from April 25th, 1987. The ad did cut and splice some of the words of the president and rearrange the order of the words. But the parts of the radio address that they took out of the ad because it was too long are actually more critical of tariffs than some of the parts that they used in the ad. In the other parts of the speech that were not aired here, Reagan goes on to say that tariffs were part of the cause of deepening the Great Depression and saying that they cause American companies to be less competitive. So the president there, President Reagan that is, very critical throughout that speech of tariffs. Guys, back over to you.
You know, Eamon, I mean, I have to take note of that ad live, which aired during the American League Championship Series last weekend. So it's been a few days. Right. This has been out there at least. And I do wonder, one, if it had created any kind of upset in the days till maybe the president was made aware of it. And also, what was the current state of U.S.-Canada negotiations? And were we facing particular deadlines, or is this just an ongoing situation?
Yeah, I think the question on the timing is an important one, Mike. I mean, we do know that this ad has been airing for several days. The president actually mentioned it earlier in the week. He made a reference to Canadian ads. He wasn't as outraged about them at that time earlier in the week. Last night, though, he was outraged. I think what the White House is objecting to is just the editing of the ad, which the White House says, and I just spoke to a White House official who said, again, that the editing misrepresents what Reagan said by rearranging the order of the words or cutting out some sections of the radio address that Reagan made. But again, if you go back and compare the actual radio address, which the Reagan Foundation has out there now on social media, and what the Canadian ad suggested, you know, Reagan himself was a free trader. He did do some protectionist things. He argued that those should be targeted and narrow. But broadly, you know, the Reagan argument was not the Trump argument on tariffs, and you know, that holds historically. So where are we now? I mean, that's the question, is are there any meetings now that will happen as a result of this at the low staff level, or is everything canceled? We're trying to get some answers from the White House and the U.S. Trade Representative's office on that. It's still relatively early in the morning. They're still going to be responding to this now and setting their schedule, so we don't have any information yet on what specifically has been canceled, if anything.
Yeah, for now, Eamon, markets definitely looking past it as we're at 6,800 S&P. Eamon Javers of the White House, thanks.